Now, with coverage you can count on, you're watching Sports Extra.
Try to throw it down to Andre, no. Picked up by John Lure, no. And now they have gone 6 minutes without scoring. Porzingis buries it. You got a feel for Stan Van Gundy. What can he do at this point?
Sorry, George Blaha, but I don't feel bad for Stan Van Gundy. He's the one who's in charge. He's the one who put the Pistons roster together. He's the one coaching the team, and he hasn't done a good enough job. Earlier this week, Detroit put the finishing touches on another disappointing season of basketball, something that's happened far too often over the last decade. This season, they missed the playoffs for the 7th time in the last 8 years. You know, it's actually been 9 years since the Pistons last won a playoff game. Not a series, just one postseason game. There's a ton of issues on this team, but the biggest problem is that there's no superstar, no perennial all-star to build around. The most talented player is Andre Drummond, but he disappears at times, and he can't shoot free throws, so he's a liability at the end of close games. Drummond shot 38% from the line this season, and that was actually an improvement over last year's 35%. Van Gundy tried to deal Drummond at the trade deadline, but found no takers. He also can't get rid of Reggie Jackson. It seems nobody wants Jackson or Drummond and their big contracts. In trying to improve the team's roster and add depth, Van Gundy overspent on middling free agents. Now the team faces the luxury tax next season, and they may lose Kentavious Caldwell-Pope in free agency. Things aren't good, and the future doesn't look good either. So I asked you this on the WNEM Facebook page earlier tonight. How do you fix the Detroit Pistons? We had some interesting comments, and here are some of them. Brad believes the Pistons need to stay the course. He says they're young, and you have to stick with these guys another year. And I think that's what Stan Van Gundy will do, Brad, and a lot of people feel the same way you do. Others, like Terry, want changes. He says sign KCP, trade Reggie Jackson for anything, draft a point guard, and teach these men defense first. Terry, a lot of people want Reggie gone, but it doesn't look like Van Gundy is going to get rid of him, so we're stuck with him. And that's probably why a lot of people agree with Richard, who says get rid of Stan Van Gundy. You know, Rich, I think the fire Van Gundy camp is getting bigger, but owner Tom Gore seems to support him, and that means SVG will get another year. Thank you to everybody for the many comments I read tonight. To the NBA playoffs, first round, game 1 between the Warriors and Trailblazers. Check out Draymond Green here, 2-on-1. He stuffs what should have been an easy dunk or layup. Check this out again. Unbelievable performance by Draymond. He had 19 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists. There's another one of his 5 blocks to go with 3 steals. Warriors get 32 points from Kevin Durant and 29 from Steph Curry. They take game 1. 121-109. Well, I know it's early in the baseball season, but today was the Tigers' biggest win so far because it gave them a series victory over Cleveland, and that's something that they only did 1 time in 6 tries last year. Alex Avila continues his hot start to the season. Avila reached base every time he came to the plate. That's a 2-run home run. He is hitting .700 on the year so far. Matt Boyd was awesome. He went 6 innings, allowed just 1 run on 7 hits. Miguel Cabrera comes through in the 8th inning with an RBI single, but he would later leave the game after injuring his back. The Tigers are off tomorrow, so that should help Miggy a little bit. It doesn't appear to be serious, but we'll know more in the next couple days. Tigers bullpen was awesome. Yes, I said it. They were awesome. Francisco Rodriguez closes the doors. The Tigers relievers combined to throw 3 shutout innings. Tigers win 4-1. They take 2 of 3 against the Tribe this weekend.
You know, we're playing well, and that's the goal, is win series. You don't have to sweep every team. You don't have to, try to rally back. You just got to knock off series, win series, and move on to the next one.
Today was just a good team win. We played great defense. We got the hits when we needed to. And guys behind me came in. We slammed the door shut. It was good.
So 12 games in, Tigers in first place. Even though the bullpen hasn't been very good, they were actually the worst bullpen in all of baseball coming into today. Detroit with a 1-game lead over Minnesota, a 1.5-game lead over Chicago. And how about Cleveland in last place? The Indians were everybody's favorite to win the division heading into the season. Yes, I know it's early, so it doesn't really matter. But the good thing is Detroit's 8-4 and not 4-8. All right, to Washington, D.C. Every game, the Nationals have the president's race, but this time the mascots sabotage the event. Check out the Easter Bunny out of nowhere, absolutely destroys Teddy Roosevelt. So the Eagle mascot wins the race, but you got to see this in slow-mo. The Easter Bunny diving and just crushing old Teddy there right in the face. It looks like it would hurt, even though you have all that padding on. No word yet on Teddy's condition. To college softball, 18th ranked Michigan visits Maryland. Wolverines down 1, top of the 7th, bases loaded. Kelly Christner with an RBI single, and that ties it up. Next to the plate is Courtney Richardson. She goes deep to right. It won't get out, but it will serve its purpose. That's a sacrifice fly and the go-ahead run for the Maize and Blue. Megan Betza, the pitcher, in some trouble, bottom of the inning, but she gets out of it. Strike him out to end it. Michigan with a nice come-from-behind win. Wolverines remain a half game out of first place behind Minnesota in the Big Ten standings.